Well, let's get more on this now with Vesko Garcevic in Boston. He served as Montenegro's ambassador to NATO, as well as Austria, Belgium, Luxembourg and the Netherlands. He's currently a professor of practical international relations at Boston University. Welcome back to the program, Ambassador. Can I start with the latest in US military aid? Another $400 million worth to Ukraine on top of the $29 billion that The Hill reports the US has already spent on weapons for Kiev. How crucial is Washington's ongoing support for Ukraine?
Definitely, it plays an important role, given that Ukraine, in fact, is lacking actually the type of ammunition, and therefore it is in this moment of a great importance for Ukraine to receive, because their stocks are depleted as it's known, and I think that this also the support by Germany with the Leopard tanks is definitely even more important. I would say that German Chancellor has come to DC, to Washington today, strengthened with this maneuver, with this move, because while Leopard tanks are about to arrive or have already arrived, Abrams tanks given by the US are due to arrive by the end of the year. So which means that, many things may change until the end of the year, because the summer is ahead. So definitely the support is of crucial importance. But I would say also this speaks about importance of strengthening alliance between Germany and the US, and in a broader term within NATO and the Western alliance.
Let's talk about Bakhmut, the eastern frontline city that's seen some of the worst fighting in this conflict so far. The Wagner Group, as we heard, says it surrounded the city. If they manage to take it, it would be a rare victory for Russia right now. This is despite the billions of dollars that Ukraine is receiving from countries like the US. How would you assess Moscow's overall progress at this point of the war?
I would say this Bakhmut has a symbolical meaning for Russia. It means, they invested a lot in terms of human capital and in terms of like a military capability to get that city, which has, as you rightly said before my this interview, that has a little military importance in a given situation. I would say that for Russia, this may be like an input and a proof, mostly back home for internal propaganda, that situation is not so bleak on the battle line, and that Russia is ready and willing and able to continue with its offensive with the spring. When it comes to Ukraine, it's also interesting that they invested a lot of energy to protect that city, though at least in the last couple of weeks, is obvious that they cannot hold that city. So therefore, I would say for both sides, the city has symbolical meaning rather than importance in terms of strategic further strategic development on the borderlands.
And many analysts say that Russia is gearing up for a so-called spring offensive, that they will double down on the fighting in Ukraine after the winter. Do you believe that's going to happen?
Nobody can tell us now what's going to happen in the first weeks of spring or in the first months of spring. People speculate with either a big Ukrainian offensive once they receive the weaponry promised by the West. First of all, Leopards, tank Leopards, and other weaponry. On the other hand, speculate that Russia is preparing a big offensive in late March, early April. You know well that there were speculations about big Russian offensive in the late February. That didn't happen. So, which means we can just think about that in terms of speculation. What I can say is definitely that both sides will flock more troops on the battlefield and then the war is going to continue. And the idea of a blitzkrieg or idea of a brief war definitely is behind us, and that we are going to witness confrontation much longer than anybody believed last year around this time.
Okay, Ambassador Vesko Garcevic, we'll have to leave it there, but thank you so much for giving us your analysis.
Thank you so much for inviting me.